A political hot potato might leave Staten Island commuters stranded come Monday morning. The full story next on the Staten Island NewsCenter.
What was once a 45-minute commute to Manhattan could now take 2.5 hours. Good evening, I'm Tina Cervasio.
And I'm Matt Locker. Staten Islanders are bracing themselves with what could be called a nightmare of a commute come this Monday morning. Staten Island NewsCenter's John LaSalandra has the first part of the story on the commuter crisis.
I've had no conversations with Academy, I've had no conversations with Atlantic, so clearly there's no way that I had any personal knowledge that that existed. I did hear in the last couple of days from Carol and some of the other commuters that they had some sense that this might happen.
That's what the borough president is saying about the Academy bus services terminating their 13 routes to Manhattan. City Councilman O'Donovan doesn't buy it.
I don't know why he's surprised. I mean, he knows about the mayor's executive order number 25, and he knows about the city charter that lays out rules and regulations on how privates should be franchised. And there are a lot of questions involved in those rules and regulations by the city charter. Whether it's feasible, whether they have funding, whether their drivers are experienced, what routes they're going to happen here, who they're going to serve, whether they can continuously serve without pulling out what had happened here with Academy. And this was not done.
Come Monday morning, a temporary schedule will have Atlantic Express and New York City Transit adding more buses and new routes to their current schedule, creating new worries and confusion to Atlantic Express's current commuters.
Is there a possibility that you won't have a seat Monday morning?
They're promising us that we will, that the riders that have been frequent riders for, we have a card, that we will have a seat. However, I don't know how they're going to accommodate us, so we'll see.
What is certain throughout this bus crisis is that come Monday morning, this already crowded park and ride of Atlantic Express will see more commuters trying to find their way to Manhattan.
We would drive to the Atlantic Express park and ride, which is what I thought I was going to do next week, but now they're full and they're not taking any more applications. I don't know how I'm going to get to work next week. I've had my same job for 14 years and I like my job and I have security there. And now I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't commute 2.5 hours in each direction. I just can't.
No matter what we're going to do, there will be some dislocation. There will be some people who are not going to be satisfied. Some people who are going to find it a little more difficult to get to work next week than they have in the past.
Commuters are advised to allow extra time or make alternate arrangements before heading for work next week. For Staten Island NewsCenter, I'm John LaSalandra.
Political bickering aside, what does all of this mean to you? As of right now, here's what we can tell you. If you're heading to Manhattan, Atlantic Express will be running the AE4 line 13 times between 5:30 and 8:25 a.m. and making these stops along the way. The AE5 will run 7 trips between 5:45 and 7:45 with these stops. Now, for coming home, the AE4 will make 13 trips between 3 o'clock and 7:30, and the AE5 will run from 3:45 until 7:30, making 8 trips. They will pick you up along 34th Street at 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Avenues, and along 5th Avenue on 37th, 43rd, 47th, 51st, and 56th Streets. The Atlantic Express lines will run via New Jersey. Now, as for the MTA, they will add 5 trips to the X17 and X31 lines and are prepared to add buses to the X10, X12, X13, X14, and the X16 if needed. Now, if you missed any of this information or to get the latest updates, you can call Atlantic Express. Their toll-free line is 800-336-3886, or click on Transportation at the website www.nyc.gov/DOT. Tina?
A statewide ban on using handheld cell phones while driving is becoming law in the state of New York. The cell phone bill passed the Republican-controlled Senate. The Democratic-controlled-led Assembly is not expected to vote until Monday, but Governor George Pataki says they have reached a consensus. The governor was always confident that this bill would be passed by legislation in order to put safety as the priority.
I just think that you have to put safety as the priority. Last year, our highways were the safest they have ever been. The surveys go back to the 20s, and even in the mid-20s, we had more fatalities on our highways than we did last year. And I think you have to make safety the priority, and certainly it would be nice to be able to just chat on the phone, but it's too dangerous. And I've met people who have lost family members from someone who was just distracted and went through a stop sign or failed to notice that a car was turning. And I think there's broad public support for the ban.
The law goes into effect November 1st with warnings for the first month and then fines running upwards of $100. By the way, you can see my complete interview with the governor next Tuesday and Wednesday following the Staten Island NewsCenter right here on SI 17.
Parents have been fighting for years to get their kids on the bus, but not riding the school bus may turn out to be a better option for your kids' health.
They're painted in a color called safety yellow, but the black exhaust may be a more appropriate color for school buses. A recent California study connecting diesel exhaust fumes with creating a health risk to school children has caught the eye of Councilman James Otto.
The diesel emissions from aged school buses poses a health risk to children on those school buses. The diesel fumes instigate asthma situations and even worse is a cause of cancer. And the fact that young kids are on these buses for an extended period of time, when you accumulate it, and the fact that their systems are and their organs are actually growing and it's very susceptible, the conclusions that the National Resources Defense Council came to was that we have to do something, that our kids literally are in danger by sitting in a school bus.
If it's determined that there is indeed a risk, the question posed for the council could be, would school bus contracts only be renewed to companies using cleaner compressed natural gas? Or could we convert existing buses to run cleaner?
There's a way of an interim step between the existing diesel buses and the state-of-the-art buses where you can literally put a $6,000 converter on, and it prevents the fumes and the engine runs more cleanly.
By 2007, all school buses will be mandated by law to burn cleaner. But until then, the councilman is seeking to tap into a state bond bill to find an interim solution.
The South Shore City Council seat is empty for the time being. Councilman Stephen Fiala is resigning his elected position. Why? To take on his new duties. Fiala has been picked for the position of county clerk, which has been vacant since the death of then clerk Mario Esposito. When we come back, we have important news for women.
And could there be a disaster looming for the upcoming primary election? Unless the state law is changed before Election Day, the answer could be yes.
Need a new car to match your needs? Try a brand new Daewoo from Villa Marin on Forest Avenue, and we'll do our best to beat any deal. Daewoo combines luxury and affordability. You can afford to buy new, even on a used car budget, because we'll beat any deal.
Every vehicle is backed by 46 years of reliability and service, and we'll
beat any deal. Shop us last, bring us your best deal, and we'll beat any deal.
Because at Villa Marin, great deals and service are what we're all about.
For decades, thousands of skilled men and women who worked in steel mills, power plants, shipyards, manufacturing plants, and construction sites were unknowingly exposed to asbestos. Workers exposed to asbestos can develop asbestosis, lung cancer, or mesothelioma many years after they were exposed. If you or a family member are the victim of an asbestos-related disease, you may be entitled to compensation from the asbestos industry. Call the law offices of Russo, Scamardella, and D'Amato for a free consultation. Attorneys serving the Staten Island community for over 45 years.
Rosebank Sports is the only name to remember in sport shooting and fishing equipment. We're an authorized Smith & Wesson law enforcement dealer. We have the best selection and lowest prices on new and used firearms, a full line of scopes and accessories, fishing poles, live bait. We're the oldest firearms dealer out of Staten Island. Rosebank Sports buys used firearms and accessories. Get your hunting and fishing license here. Rosebank Sports. The only thing you don't have to hunt or fish for is better prices.
It could be an encore presentation of paper ballots used in an election. This time, a Florida-like flood of paper ballots could be the case right here in New York City. You may find yourself darkening eggs on paper carts in this primary election thanks to a lawsuit against the city by Irving Gelb. The suit has forced the city to provide enough space for write-in candidates, but with all the city council candidates, voting machines don't have adequate room to accommodate. There is a bill in Albany to change the law, but if that doesn't go through, it means machine counting all the paper ballots could delay election results by almost 2 weeks.
Tina, 1 out of 8 women gets breast cancer, and it proves fatal for 1 out of 28. The best weapon for effective treatment is early detection. But what happens if you can't get a breast exam without being put on a very long waiting list?
Early detection and immediate treatment can mean the difference between life and death in women with breast cancer. For years, women have been urged to do regular self-exams and seek mammograms. But what if early detection is not possible because you're told it'll be 6 months before you can get a scheduled appointment? Councilman James Otto.
We had a woman contact my office. She went on June 11th last week to get a mammography appointment and was told to come back on January 28, 2002. There was another woman who contacted my office and was seeking an appointment, and she was told that she can get one 4 months in advance. She didn't settle for that answer, and she's a runner, and she was running down Victory Boulevard and saw a sign that said no waiting for mammographies, and she ended up calling it. She ended up having a mastectomy prior to the original appointment date. And when you're talking about mammographies, you know, you're talking about an issue where literally days could mean the difference between life and death.
Otto says he is baffled and angered that the other 4 boroughs are getting help through the State and Hospitals Corporation, but Staten Islanders don't get the benefits of HHC. So, what's a woman to do?
A woman to do now is be aggressive. Don't settle for somebody telling you, well, we can't give you a mammography for 2 months or 3 months. Keep at it. Keep calling every clinic there is on Staten Island and off Staten Island. If you have the means to get off of Staten Island, by all means do it. But don't wait. The worst thing you can do is wait.
With Staten Island being the only of the 5 boroughs not getting help from the HHC, Otto says he's having flashbacks of 10 years ago when Staten Island was known as the Forgotten Borough, and he's really not happy about it. Again, if you're due for mammography, don't wait, and as the councilman says, do whatever you need to get it done.
Local nurses are rallying together to voice their concern about stalled contract talks with hospitals.
Over 50 nurses from the Sisters of Charity Medical Center lined up at St. Vincent's campus to protest their poor working conditions. The New York State Nurses Association is backing these local registered nurses who want a new contract that includes better pay and increased staff. Currently, the nurse-to-patient ratio is so low that some nurses have to care for up to 15 patients at one time. The nurses are also upset with the lack of air conditioning. The RNs say because of the deteriorating environment in the hospitals, the nurses can't give proper care to patients, so they are conducting informational picketing.
This is a way to kind of let the administration know that what we want is a fair contract and we want resolution to the air conditioning problems and the staffing, because really our main concern is patient safety. And the way we're being forced to do our jobs at this point is really compromising the care that we can give.
In an official statement, St. Vincent's and Bailey Seton hospitals say they respect the rights of their employees to engage in activities relative to the collective bargaining process, and they look forward to negotiations with the Nurses Association in order to reach a mutually agreeable settlement that benefits everyone involved. In just a moment, Nick Lagakis will be along with the local sports scene.
And we'll take you behind the scenes of a brand new television facility on the island. We'll see you right back.
Performance, quality, luxury. Did you know you can lease or buy a pre-owned luxury car with no money down? Courtesy of Euro American Auto, a family-owned and operated business dedicated to service and quality. All of our pristine vehicles are 100% warrantied. Choose from names like Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, Jaguar, Volvo. Euro American Auto on Highland Boulevard. Drive home in style today. If it's quality you're looking for, look no further. Quality Furniture in Port Richmond has only the best quality furniture with names like Broyhill, Turano, Morgan Stewart, and quality bedding like Serta.
Sofa and love seat, only $12.99. 5-piece bedroom set, only $5.99. Get 6 months, no money down.
It's all right here at Quality Furniture, where quality and customer service really make the difference.
Nick Lugakis joins us now with a look at sports.
Nick, Sunday's opening day right here on the island.
Opening day coming up. The Yankees already opened up this season.
Right.
They're on the road for the first 5 games.
How are they doing?
They're 1-2 to start off. We haven't had a chance to see them yet, but we'll get our first look at them on Sunday.
Looking forward to it.
Terrific.
Should be a good one. Well, it wasn't the way the defending champs were hoping to start off the 2001 season. The Staten Island Yanks got its first taste of action this year on Tuesday, dropping the opener to Lowell 4-2. Following a rainout on Wednesday, the Baby Bombers finally broke the hex of the Spinners, winning on their home turf for the first time in 6 tries. The Yanks used a 6-run 7th and grabbed an 8-5 win. Andy Cannizaro and Juan Camacho carried the Big Bats, going a combined 5 for 8 with 2 ribbies and 2 runs scored. But it was first baseman Aaron Rifkin who got the party started in the 7th with a 2-out, 2-run single. Unfortunately, the Yanks dropped the nightcap, falling 4-1. The Yanks will finish the series with Lowell before traveling to Hudson Valley for a 1-game meeting with the Renegades. Both teams will then return to Staten Island for the Yankees' home opener on Sunday.
Now that the season is underway, you might be asking yourself, who are these guys? Well, it will be a learning experience for everyone in the first few weeks of the season, and that includes the manager. But here's a look at some of this year's hopefuls. The biggest name on this year's team is the top pick, John Ford Griffin. The outfielder played for Florida State this past spring and fell a game short of guiding the Seminoles to its 4th straight trip to the College World Series. He was a force, though, batting .450 with 19 home runs and 75 RBI in just 65 games. Joining Griffin in the outfield will be Shelley Duncan, who was with the University of Arizona last year, and former Gulf Coast Yankees Kevin Thompson and Jeff Seeger. Juan Camacho will anchor the infield at third base along with Devi Mendez at short. Both were promoted from Tampa last year. Second baseman Andy Cannizaro batted .390 with Tulane this past season, compiling 3 home runs and 69 RBI. A group of others will battle it out for the spot at first. The Yanks brought 3 catchers to Staten Island, 2 from Tampa, Alejandro Fernandez and Mitch Evans, along with 21st round pick Olmir Santos. The ace of the pitching staff looks to be John Skaggs, but as the season moves on, anyone could emerge. Skaggs pitched at Rice University this past spring, going 9-4 with a 2.65 ERA. He also had 110 strikeouts in 119 innings pitched. These Yankees are built for winning in 2001, and that's the way the boss usually likes it.
Another popular coach has stepped down in the high school ranks, but this one has an ugly twist to it. Bernie Cooper, who spent 25 years with the Tottenville wrestling team, was forced to step down on Tuesday because of a teachers' union regulation. Cooper, who also coaches boys soccer, had to give up one of the 2 sports because someone else requested that he do so. The contract allows anyone to coach as many teams as they want, but they could only claim retention rights to 1 sport. Cooper chose to stay on as the soccer coach when Greg Zrak, a teacher who transferred to Tottenville from Telecommunications High School, requested the position of wrestling coach. Cooper was hoping to stay on as co-coach of the Pirates, but Zrak rejected the idea. The retired Cooper will now be brought on by Curtis High School, which is just starting up its wrestling program, to coach alongside Chris Alina. That should make for an interesting meeting next winter. And 6 locals will take part in the 4th annual Governor's Bowl on July 5th. Curtis's Stephen Gregory, Monsignor Farrell's Jason Sullivan, and Wagner's Ramel Myers will be featured at the running back position. Port Richmond's Prince Stewart will be in the defensive backfield, while a pair of Tottenville quarterbacks, Jason Davis and Christian Riccardi, will try and launch an aerial attack. The game will be played at Rutgers University at 7 p.m. For ticket information, you can call 609-971-7423. New York has yet to beat New Jersey, suffering its worst defeat last year, 48-7. Congratulations to 2 Staten Islanders who were in the news this week. Former St. Peter's hoop star and 1,000-point scorer Kerry Nemeth was named as an assistant basketball coach at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. And Monsignor Farrell's track and field coach Tom Cuff was named the chairman of outdoor events for the CHSAA. He will be in charge of site selections and will be the director for all championship meets. Good luck to both. And finally, remember, you can send us an email with any questions or comments that you might have. The address is si17sports@sicable.com. And that's a look at what's going on. Maddie?
Thank you, Nikki.
Happy
It was
birthday.
loud, but it was the first. The summer concert series kicked off Wednesday night. Matt Penalino filed this report.
Godsmack, Drowning Pool, Linkin Park. That sound familiar? Well, they're just a few of the new wave of popular heavy metal acts hitting it big lately. And it was heavy metal, along with a little thunder and lightning, that filled the air at Gateway Park Wednesday night, as Guy Molinari's annual summer rock concerts kicked off their 12th year. It was just last year when your U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer was on hand, doing his best to groove to some Ozzy Osbourne music, a sight we won't soon forget. Chuck wasn't on hand this year, but the music was just as heavy as local bands Into the Looking Glass and 4DM screamed their way through some intense sets and inspired some good old-fashioned moshing. The change in music styling is a conscious effort to appeal to a younger crowd.
It's going to range all the way from pop, punk, hardcore, everything. And, you know, seen by tonight, the kids are really having fun. The kids are enjoying the music. They're dancing, having a good time. And I think it's going to be a great season.
The night was not without incident. One 19-year-old concertgoer was arrested after allegedly punching an auxiliary police officer. All in all, though, the younger crowd seemed to enjoy themselves, whether they were into the heavier music or not, and they can look forward to a summer full of Wednesday night concerts. One note, there will be no concert on Wednesday, July 4th because of a certain landfill that just happens to be closing. For the Staten Island NewsCenter, I'm Matt Pantalino.
Thanks, Matt. Ever want to be on TV or produce your own television show and have it seen by more than just the family gathered around your VCR? Community television, known as CTV, has offered public access television for quite some time. However, beginning this week, they can offer twice as much. Housed inside the Time Warner Cable building, CTV unveiled its new second studio and brand new state-of-the-art equipment. There was a televised unveiling attended by the Deputy Borough President, James Molinaro, and we had a camera there as well.
Deputy Borough President James Molinaro was one of the first people interviewed in CTV's new Studio B. Another politician who's been making use of CTV for years was also on hand.
So I've been a great proponent of cable TV on Staten Island, and to have these new facilities available to all of us to produce programs like this is just exciting.
This is a facility, public access TV, to give people a greater opportunity to participate in Staten Island life. And they do that by virtue of coming here to be trained, to be producers, learn how to use equipment, and produce shows.
We really have to give a special thanks to Staten Island Cable, because public access on Staten Island, as in the rest of the city, is funded by the parent company. In this case, Staten Island Cable or Time Warner has funded us. The cooperation from Brian Kelly, and before him Steve Pagano, and the staff, especially over the past year, has been phenomenal.
While CTV gets significant funding from Time Warner Cable, the CTV channels are not affiliated with this channel, SI-17. You can see the programming offered by CTV on channels 34, 35, 56, and 57. Long before cable TV was commonplace, it was a skyline of rooftop antennas that pulled in the show that began with the line, "Boy, the way Glenn Miller played, songs that made the hit parade." The star of the 1970s hit television series All in the Family, Carroll O'Connor, has died. The actor is best known for his role as Archie Bunker, suffered a fatal heart attack Thursday night. He was 76.
Deputy Borough President James Molinaro has been tight-lipped about his campaign for his boss's office and has declined the offer of a debate until after the primary. However, we had a chance to catch up with Molinaro and catch a quick comment on how he's feeling about the race so far.
I think it's going fine. I think it's going, let's say it's going exactly as we planned it. Whether that's good or bad, you know, that's to be interpreted by the individuals. We're satisfied with it's going exactly as we planned.
Molinaro is a conservative and will face off with Republican Robert Stranieri in the upcoming primary. We'll be right back.
Need a new car to match your needs? Try a brand new Daewoo from Villa Marin on Forest Avenue, and we'll do our best to beat any deal. Daewoo combines luxury and affordability. You can afford to buy new, even on a used car budget, because we'll beat any deal.
Every vehicle is backed by 46 years of reliability and service, and we'll
beat any deal. Shop us last, bring us your best deal, and we'll beat any deal.
Because at Villa Marin, great deals and service are what we're all about.
In an effort to raise awareness of their existence and give you a chance to help them out, we take some time out for pets' sake, hoping you or someone you know can offer a loving home to one of the island's many homeless pets. Take a look and see if you find a match or a home for one of these animals on today's segment.
This is Izzy. Izzy is a 4-month-old brown tiger cat. Very affectionate. He likes to rub his scent glands on you. That's what they're doing when they rub their head on you like that. He's only 4 pounds. But he is considered just about a juvenile cat. He's not neutered, he's a male, but we would get the neuter surgery done before you would take him home. He's very active and playful. We have Marley and Bob here. Marley is the brown tiger. He's a male. He's about 4 pounds. He's got the white boots, and he also has a very distinctive marking on the side of his face. It's called an eyeliner mark. Very pretty, different looking. And this is Bob. Bob may not be as special looking, but he's just as sweet. He's black and white. Male also, about the same weight, 4 pounds. And they'd both be neutered before they went home. This is Butch. He's an American Bulldog Mastiff mix. One of the first shows we did, we had a purebred American Bull named Nino, who we got a great home for. So Butch is looking for a home. So hopefully we can find him just as a great home. He's already neutered, so he can go the same day. You adopt him, he can go home. He can sit for treats. Sit, Butch. Good boy. And for a large dog, as you can see, he takes the treats very gently for me. He is a gentle giant, as I like to call them. He's big. He's probably about 85 pounds, but he's very sweet. This is Mason. He's a 1-year-old lab hound mix. He's got the coloring and markings of a Labrador, although his body and ears are built more hound-like. He's like a medium range activity level, so he might be good for somebody who leads that kind of medium active life. He's already neutered, so he can go home the same day. He's already housebroken. He was a owner surrender, which means he came from a home, and the owner
Might be a good fit for you, or if you'd like to lend a hand to the folks at the center, you can give them a call at 984-6643. And that does it for tonight. For Tina Cervasio, Nick Lagakis, and all of us here at the Staten Island News Center, I'm Matt Locker. Thanks for joining us, and you make it a good one.